In the realm of ancient history, few figures have captured the imagination quite like Alexander the Great. Renowned for his military prowess and conquests, Alexander's personal life and romantic entanglements have been a subject of much speculation and debate. The question that often arises is, was Alexander the Great gay? Let us explore the truths and myths surrounding his sexuality and delve into the cultural context of homosexuality in ancient Greece. There are historical accounts that suggest Alexander had close emotional bonds and possibly sexual relationships with men. One such figure linked to Alexander is Hephaestion, his childhood friend and fellow soldier. Ancient sources document their relationship extensively, describing it as intense and profound. However, we must be mindful that friendship in ancient Greece held different cultural connotations than it does in our modern world. Deep friendship, known as philia, was highly valued in Greek society, expressing loyalty and camaraderie among warriors or intellectual companionship. While some historians argue that Alexander and Hephaestion's relationship extended beyond platonic friendship, it is important to approach these accounts within the context of their time and cultural norms. Ancient sources do not explicitly mention the nature of their connection beyond friendship, and we must avoid imposing our modern understanding of sexual orientation onto events that occurred over 2 millennia ago. Although there is no definitive evidence to prove Alexander's sexual orientation, some scholars interpret his actions and behaviors as indicative of homosexuality. For example, his close bond with Hephaestion is viewed by some as having a romantic aspect. However, it is noteworthy that close male friendships were not uncommon in ancient Greece, and such relationships were not necessarily driven by sexual attraction. Another argument put forth is the relative absence of records detailing Alexander's relationships with women. Some suggest that his preference for male company and the lack of documented heterosexual relationships imply a homosexual inclination. However, we must consider whether this absence is due to historical bias, the focus on Alexander's military exploits, or simply a reflection of historical documentation limitations. Visual representations of Alexander in ancient artwork often depict him alongside men in intimate positions or engaged in affectionate gestures. Such depictions have led some scholars to speculate about his sexual preferences. However, it is important to remember that ancient art often conveyed broader cultural and symbolic meanings, and specific interpretations can be subjective. To fully comprehend the cultural norms surrounding homosexuality in ancient Greece, we must delve into the societal context in which Alexander lived. Same-sex relationships were not uncommon in this civilization and held diverse connotations. Such relationships were often seen in the mentorship framework, where an older man would guide and educate a younger man. It was believed that these bonds could cultivate virtues and enhance a young man's character. It is crucial to note that the concept of sexual orientation as we understand it today did not exist in ancient Greek society. Given the limited evidence and challenges associated with understanding historical context accurately, it is difficult to definitively categorize Alexander's sexual orientation. In light of the cultural norms and societal practices of ancient Greece, it is plausible that he may have engaged in same-sex relationships while also forming heterosexual unions. Applying modern labels, such as gay or bisexual, to historical figures can be misleading and anachronistic. Sexuality as we conceptualize it today was understood and experienced differently in ancient times. The question of Alexander's sexual orientation remains uncertain and open to interpretation. By appreciating the complexities of human relationships and respecting the nuances of historical evidence and cultural norms, we can gain a more comprehensive understanding of the life and legacy of Alexander the Great.